have troubles with your attitude. You don't pay enough attention in class. You don't know what the word study means. You have the slightest idea. Don't you realize that mathematics is an important subject?
Well, here we are again, lovely pod dogs. Back at it. We've got a tasty Pod Sound School episode for you all about planning and preparing with Veronica. Enjoy. And remember, we generate fears while we sit. We overcome them by action.
Hey there, Podskis. I hope you're enjoying learning with me. I would love to hear how your progress is coming. Come and let us know on social media how your shows are going at Pod Sound School. Today, we have an episode full of useful information based on our own experience and some additional research. Scheduling some time before recording to plan, structure, and create your podcast episodes will translate in editing efficiency, consistency throughout the episodes, and faithful followers and listeners from the start of your show. So let's see. So far, you have taken the time to do some research and find your niche. You also spend some time analyzing and researching about a topic idea, as well as finding a sexy, creative, and appealing name. You have also learned with Studio Steve about the basic studio setup to record your podcast, the different DAWs with Pro Tools being his favorite, and the different web host services to hold your MP3 files after you have recorded your show.
So you're ready to record that first episode.
But before recording that lovely voice, take some time to plan, structure, and get creative with your podcast. I know, you're probably frustrated with all the planning, researching, and thinking, but trust me, following these simple steps will save you time in the future, create efficient work habits, and will help you grow your audience. Step 1. Planning your podcast episodes. While planning your podcast, here are 3 things to have in mind. 1. Episode format. There are 2 formats for podcasts, episodic and serialized. Episodic shows have standalone episodes. You can quickly choose any episode on your way to work without paying attention to the order. Subscribers of this type of podcast receive the latest episode, which is placed at the top of the playlist. On the other hand, serialized podcasts are organized oldest to newest. Their content is usually a story or a narrative organized in chronological order. In order to make sense of each episode, they have to be listened to in sequence. So, are you telling a story or will you have standalone episodes? Second, scripted or unscripted. The question we need to ask here is whether you will need a script. The most common scripted shows are storytelling, educational, and some solo format and informational shows. The benefits of using a script in these type of shows is that you can control the experience your audience will have and deliver the story intentionally. And the third thing to have in mind is frequency. Something you should have in mind when planning your podcast episodes is how frequently you will post episodes. The main aspects that come into play when deciding show frequency are show format, target audience, time availability, and personal goals. Audiences for serialized shows tend to be less forgiving when it comes to waiting too long for the next episode. I personally hate to wait more than a week to know what is going to happen next in the story. Whatever the format, our goal is to keep our audience engaged and excited for new shows every week. Having a weekly episode release is the perfect balance between audience retention and mental sanity. Producing more than 1 episode a week can be taxing, since there's a lot of planning and preparation behind it. Step 2. Structuring. Now, 3 things you want to have in mind for structuring are first, intro and outro. A fun, unique, and well-recorded intro piece or header can really help to catch the attention of new listeners. An outro or footer is also a nice touch that sends the listeners off on a good note and makes them want to return for more. Consider including information in the header and footer recordings that you will want to include on every episode. The intro and outro pieces are also perfect places to input a call to action. For example, asking people to subscribe, rate, and review, asking your listeners to support you on Patreon, visit your website, submit their stories, suggestions, or get involved in your show. And next, episode thesis statement and talking points. Even if you're planning on having a loosely structured conversational podcast, a thesis statement and talking points will really help to keep the listeners engaged. Thesis statements tell the listeners at the beginning of each episode what the episode is about. On the same note, talking points are the layout or map of the episode. Placing a thesis and talking points at the beginning of the episode will increase listener retention as they create interest and anticipation for the listener. And the third thing to have in mind for structuring, script writing techniques. If you're going to write a script, don't forget to account for the time it will take you to write it and add that to your schedule. Some great script writing tips that I love from award-winning journalist Chris Watzkow are: do your research, don't get stuck on an idea, read your scripts aloud, paint the picture vividly, keep your pacing in mind, slow things down, build pauses, declutter and avoid excessive information. Use conversational language and clean sentence structure. Take chances and have fun. And of course, listen to podcasts with great writing. Look for their techniques and their use of language. And finally, step 3, executing. All right, you're all researched, practiced, and prepared. Now it's time to put that lovely voice to tape. During this stage, you'll be getting comfortable with the microphone. You'll be finding your podcast persona, test driving your equipment and your software, and recording and editing your first episode. You will also most likely want to record a trailer and some promo episodes for your show to help create a buzz around your launch and to share on social media. How exciting! How exciting! How exciting! How exciting! We're going to have many more episodes this season that focus on this stage. Stay tuned for our episodes on preparing and recording interviews, finding your podcast voice, becoming familiar with your equipment, editing, exporting, and launching your show. And of course, all along the way, you'll be able to access our written material for reading and printing at our blog, podsoundschool.com/blog. And you can also find us over on YouTube, where many of our episodes are in colorful, fun, and shortened videos. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're so excited about Season 2, and we're even more excited to see your show get off the ground and launch. Make sure to stay in contact with us and let us know how your progress is going. We love you, amigos. Recuerden hacer la tarea. And happy casting!
There's some food for thought. Don't forget to give your project the research and planning it deserves. Also, come visit us over at our Overachievers Club at patreon.com/podsoundschool. Ciao amigos.
Learn from valuable learning experiences.
Interest in work for which learners see a purpose provides its own discipline.